Hey guys, can you hear me? I tried to play that video, but I tried it earlier today too and it didn't work. It just kept buffering. So we'll just talk. Yes, Robin, Kyle got acquitted. Not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty. And then two more, not guilties. Did you see him react to hearing the verdict? I thought that was so sad. That poor kid has been through so much. But I am very thankful that the jury got it right. To me, right from the start, it appeared to be a very clear case of self-defense. And you know what? I hope that he does well. I hope he succeeds. He wants to become a nurse. Currently, he's attending Arizona State University. Hopefully, he continues with his studies and becomes successful and is able to heal from the hell he's been through. Hope for Peace says, I was so happy Kyle was acquitted. So emotional. Robin says, what are we discussing tonight? Whatever you guys want to discuss. I'll start us off with something about the case of Christopher Watts. You know, I've talked a lot about the scumbag attackers, right? And let me tell you, if you had been on the receiving end of the BS that those scumbag attackers have pulled, trying to harm me and many others who they targeted right from the start, then you'd probably talk about it a lot too. Well, one of them, one of the worst, well, first I'll start off by saying this. It looks like they're all kind of dropping by the wayside, doesn't it? You notice that? I haven't been paying close attention, but I've been paying enough attention to see that it looks like they're all just kind of stepping back, which is great. I think it's about time. It makes me wonder if the contract was for 3 years or what. But one of them keeps posting things on her community page. And she posted something, and supposedly they're fighting with AD. I don't believe it, but whatever. She posted something that I just thought, this is what they do. They post crap as if they know what they're talking about. You know, that couple up in Canada who want you to pay for their wedding? They did the same crap. They're posting information that is not how it is. I think it was the mister who was pretty adamant that he knew all about 35 C's. He knew nothing. And then they both acted like adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse should be abused some more with their lack of knowledge on how they were handling that little issue. Well, this is a whole different one. She's posting this crap today, or maybe it was yesterday. I don't know when she posted it. But she posted this thing about how, if someone's going to sue someone, because they're all suing each other. I take that back. They're not suing each other. They're all collecting, not all of them, obviously, but quite a few of them are collecting money for their defense funds because they're all supposedly fighting with each other, Yeah, okay. And she posted this thing that I just want to run through it real quick. I won't spend too much time on it. If it's totally boring, just holler and I'll stop. But she says, if a creator gets money from their YouTube channel, it is not a wage. So, she says, it is donation from the public voluntarily in which the social platform take a commission, blah, blah, blah. She says a creator is not an employee earning from an employer a contracted certain amount each week. So what come on. And she says, but if a creator feels they want to claim they have lost earnings based on what money has actually been made, then what they have been actually earning has to be proved and declared, no? It continues, every penny will need to be declared and highlighted, so therefore their entire bank account and other accounts are scoured and pored over legally, which I can't imagine anyone would like. I'll tell you one thing I've noticed about the scumbag attackers. They give legal advice, right? I think that's all scripted bullshit, but they give legal advice in ways that it kind of sort of sounds like they're trying to teach their faithful few followers why, if they do have a case, they probably would want to, think twice before filing any lawsuit against any of the other scumbag attackers who have attacked them. That isn't how it works at all. She's claiming you don't pay taxes on anything that you get from YouTube. She's claiming that if you file a lawsuit for lost wages or whatever, financial damages, that would open up all of your financial information to the public in court. That isn't true. It's so far out there, it's almost funny, except there are people in her chat who are actually talking along with her as if she knows what she's talking about. She says, quote, nothing can be hidden. All is there to be exposed and brought to the table. The minutia becomes huge. The tiniest speck is questioned and seen. Everyone is equal and everything is on the table. Scary stuff. This is not true. This is not true. She says every statement, every tax amount, every penny that went in and out, and where and when, and where each penny is and why. That is not true. It is bullshit. But ask yourself, why? Why would a person who's clearly part of the machine be posting, such a tutorial for her pack? Why? It's all bullshit. And then she continues. They have to show the massive amount they are earning from YouTube to be able to get the massive amount they think they deserve in lost earnings. That isn't true. That is not true. And then she says another point. Any YouTuber claiming loss of earnings because someone maliciously shut down their channel would then need a pretty good explanation of why they admitted closing down at least 15 channels of other creators. Yeah, okay. I guess, right? No, that isn't how it works. It's just so disgusting when they just keep promoting bullshit. Here she says, you don't pay tax on donations, so donations won't be included anyway. Really? That isn't how it works. This isn't the first time either, is it? You know, we were told for a long time that a certain someone needed a whole lot of money in order to put a few of us into prison for life, right? How many people gave money thinking they were supporting someone who wanted to put a bunch of us, well, 5 of us, I think there were, to prison for life? That isn't how it works. It doesn't cost you a penny to call the police if there actually has been a crime committed, which in my case, there hasn't been. So there you go. The same thing is true with anybody filing a lawsuit. You damn well better have pretty clean hands if you want to try to file a lawsuit against me. And from what I've seen of all the scumbag attackers and all the people holding up their little shining lights, their hands are filthy. And my hands are clean. I've never harassed anybody. I've never committed slander, defamation, any of it. Period. I've never committed a crime. Period. Yet we saw tutorial after tutorial posted over the last 3 years. Give me your money, so that I can put these 5 people in prison for life. And people were evidently, we were told anyway, giving them money. And now look at, isn't it interesting how many channel creators who were actively involved in attacking those of us who were targeted for attack, who are refusing to take part in the bullshit anymore. Like I said, that one that I just read that crap from, her community post, she's the only one left, I think. There might be 2 or 3, I don't know. But boy, oh boy, one after another is saying, bye-bye, enough of this shit. So that's kind of interesting. I just thought I'd bring that up. And I just want to say, don't believe what they're saying, because they're full of shit. So just don't believe it. You know, this thing of people collecting money for a defense fund. What is it for? What is it for? Do you really think they need money for a defense fund? And another question along the same lines, do you really think they're collecting as much as they're claiming? Because I've never believed their claims. Yes, the Kenosha verdict is exactly the verdict I think a lot of us were hoping to see, you guys. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. And you know what? I think it's just terrible that he was charged with any crime in the first place, with all that video evidence that he was being attacked. So, like I said earlier, I hope he gets the help that he needs to heal from the trauma he has suffered through, and that he chases after his goals and his dreams. And you know what? I hope that the NRA pays him huge dollars to be their poster boy. I really do. The kid's a great shot. He had terrific firearm handling skills. He showed restraint. I think the NRA should offer him a $10 million contract to be a spokesperson for safe firearm handling. Yes, Happy Angie. He's currently enrolled with an online university working toward his nursing degree. He wants to be a nurse. And I think he'll make a fine nurse. I do. I'm so thankful that we were able to access information as the trial was ongoing with experienced lawyers who formed opportunities on social media for us to watch the trial with them commenting on the proceedings instead of being left only to hear what MSM had to say. Because if you watch any of the MSM crap, mainstream media, you should hear some of the crap out there. There was a mayor, I don't know which city, but probably a city near Kenosha, who spoke this afternoon, and he's treating it as if some armed man came and just started shooting people. Really? Really? And he referred to the riots as, civil unrest. No, they were riots. They were riots. And that kid was actually working, right? Didn't he accept an offer to work to help protect a business? He tried to get back to that business, but the police had moved the line. He was stuck. There was nobody helping him, and he knew damn well there wouldn't be anyone coming to his aid. And then the animals literally were chasing him, threatening him, attacking him. And like I said, he showed amazing restraint. Happy Angie, that's not the mayor I heard, but I did hear from another channel that mayor was saying some stuff too. The one I heard was a Wisconsin city mayor. It also made me tear up when I saw his reaction to the verdict. And then the female lawyer, who I'm so impressed with. I thought she did a great job the other day standing up to the prosecutor. She told him it was okay to go ahead and stay seated because right away he was thinking he had to stand up even though he kind of fell into the chair. But, he was in the courtroom. He had respect for the judge. He thought he was going to stand up again. And she said, no, that's okay. You can sit down. With how crazy the world is right now, I was actually half expecting to hear guilty on one of the charges. And I was going to feel really kind of like bugged by it. And I just expected it because everything seems to be so upside down right now. So I was really encouraged to hear 5 not guilty verdicts in a row. That's cute that we're a bunch of criers. Isn't that cute? Well, I guess it's cute. I don't know. But yeah, that made me cry. I mean, I didn't do like a cry, but it did. It brought tears. It brought tears. He was so sincere. Another time that brought tears was when he started to cry when he was on the stand, when he was testifying. Those tears were genuine. And I say shame on the mainstream media for trying to promote a narrative that wasn't anywhere near the truth. And also the prosecutor who held that firearm up in open court, and we're told he pointed it right at the jurors with his finger on the trigger. Are they going to bring charges against him? I wonder. I also wonder, why didn't anybody object when he did that? Why didn't the judge say, put that gun down? Why didn't the bailiff say, put the gun down? Why didn't anyone sitting on the jury say, hey, buddy, don't point a friggin' gun at me, right? Why didn't the defense jump to their feet saying, Your Honor, we expect the prosecutor to safely handle the firearm if he's going to touch it? And did you see he was holding it without any gloves? Aren't they supposed to wear gloves when they touch evidence? Happy Angie says, I was objecting from my couch. You and me both, Happy Angie. That finger on the trigger, you know what that tells me? Maybe I'm wrong, but what I think when I see somebody mishandle a firearm to that degree, what I think is the guy's probably never touched a gun in his lifetime. And where's the prosecution team? Don't they have anybody on their team at all who could have said to him, hey, this is how you need to do this? Make sure you keep your finger alongside, right? Don't put your finger by the trigger. Treat this firearm as if it's loaded. Do not point it at any person, period. Don't they have anybody in the entire office of the prosecutor who could have said, hey, I know a few things about guns? I mean, come on, it's Wisconsin. I bet you somebody in that office probably is a deer hunter or at some point along the way learned how to properly handle a firearm. Evidently not. Evidently not. Maybe it isn't in vogue to claim to have any firearm knowledge. I don't know. Happy Angie says it must have been the Alec Baldwin gun course. Well, maybe it was the how to be arrogant course or something. Robin and Happy Angie are saying the same thing. Robin says, sounds like a lesson from Alex Baldwin. I think that's where arrogance will get you. I think that's what it was about. He was evidently pretty confident that he knew what he was doing. I don't know, maybe he watched a television show or something. But it sure seems to me that somebody in that prosecutor's office should have made dang sure that he knew what he was doing before he puts his finger on the trigger and points it at the jurors. And I'm telling you, and you guys know, there's no doubt. If I was one of those jurors, my objection would have been loud. Hope for Peace says, in Canada, we can't walk down the street with a gun, but I do agree with Kyle protecting himself. Well, Hope for Peace, I'm sorry that you don't have the right to carry a firearm. Happy Andrew says he was way too cocky. I think cocky is exactly the word, because I think he thought that he knew what he was doing. I don't think he realizes how many of us actually do know how to handle firearms safely, who watched the way he mishandled that firearm and thought to ourselves, wow, this guy doesn't have a clue. What it tells me is he's either never touched a firearm before, or if he has actually touched a firearm before, he didn't have anyone teaching him how to properly handle a firearm. Which really makes me wonder. I mean, in Wisconsin, I thought most of the people in Wisconsin, especially at his age, had experience with at least hunter safety course or practicing at the range when they were younger. So it doesn't make sense. Although I'm stereotyping, that's not really fair. Happy Angie is calling the prosecutor a buffoon. She's saying he looked like a total buffoon. I do agree with Happy Angie, who says his career is done. I mean, I think he'll always have a good career, of course, but I think he's probably lost a lot of respect from a lot of people in the legal community based on how he handled himself at this trial. It's sad, too. I'm sure he worked hard. I'm sure he believed in what he was doing, but there were I guess, too many discrepancies. I don't know. The whole thing was pretty questionable, if you ask me, and I'm surprised the judge didn't. I don't know. Maybe there will be some sort of, what is it the judge called it? I think he said there's going to be a day of reckoning about that video thing. Maybe there'll be something filed with the Bar Association or with some sort of sanctions coming down the road. I don't know. Happy Angie says maybe at an MS. Blah, I can't say it. I'm laughing. Happy Angie said at MSNBC maybe. I thought that was absolutely disgusting. I think we should boycott MSNBC. They actually had a journalist following the juror's bus, the jury bus. He ran a stop sign or a red light or whatever, and when the police pulled him over, good for him, he told him the truth. He was chasing down the bus. And then he gave the police officer the producer's name who told him to do it. M says, I'm sure there'll be some wrongful death lawsuits filed. I don't think it's over for Kyle. Well, I hope if there are any filed against Kyle, I hope he fights like hell and wins each one. I think Kyle may do well to have his lawyers, not his criminal defense lawyers, but to have a team of lawyers start filing a few lawsuits of his own. It's like I was saying earlier about that post by that one attacker. It's like you got to have awful clean hands, I would think, to be trying to go after Kyle, who was just found not guilty because he acted in self-defense. That may be a lawsuit, M, that they don't want to bring. And that one, Rosenbaum, I don't know if he had family. He may have had a daughter, I think. I can't remember. But wasn't his girlfriend holding a restraining order, a protection order? Wasn't she not supposed to be around him? So I think it might be hard for her to file anything, I guess. Happy Angie brings up the issue of Rosenbaum's history. And from what I understood, I'm not sure if this came out at trial or not, or if it was just, who knows. But didn't he threaten Kyle that he was going to get him alone and do that to him too? Hope for Peace said, Kyle's lawyer said it right. We are supposed to find the truth, but the prosecutor turned it into a circus. Yeah, he said something like, it isn't about winning, but it turned into, you know, wanting to win. It's supposed to be about finding the truth. I'm just thankful that the jurors got it right. I'm thankful that they didn't feel pressured by the mobs outside the courthouse either. And I'm surprised they allowed the noise. I'm also surprised that the judge allowed the juror to take the jury instructions home. I thought that was interesting. I'm getting warnings on my computer because I'll tell you, you guys know I was on vacation, right? I left my cord behind, my computer cord. So yesterday morning, because I was or not yesterday morning, was it? What day is today? Was it yesterday or was it Wednesday? Man, I don't know. This week flew by. I was chasing around looking for a cord quick for that live chat, and I got exactly what cord and charger and everything, but it keeps giving me these weird messages. So if all of a sudden the live chat disappears, you'll know it's my power cord. Hope for Peace said yes, he did threaten Kyle. Thank you, Ash. Well, I realized this afternoon part of my problem this week is lack of sleep. I had a long list of stuff I wanted to accomplish in the last few days, and it's like, yeah, okay. They'll be first on my list for tomorrow morning. If you guys knew how many hours I drove, oh my goodness. I'll tell you, as I'm cruising along, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know of any woman my age, not that I'm like using the age card or anything, but yeah, I'll go ahead and use it. I don't know any woman my age who can hop in a car and drive the miles I can drive, the hours I can drive. My physical therapist is probably going to yell at me when I tell him. Well, he won't yell. He'll just give me that look, like, oh, Lordy. Robin says, what do you think of Megan on the Ellen show? Any Brits here? I didn't see it. All I saw was a thumbnail with her photo on it. And I thought, is that her? Doesn't even look like her. Like, where did that hair come from? And it looks like she's doing like some kind of, I bet she has a tanning booth at home. Because she's looking like she's doing some heavy duty tanning. So have any of you thought about whether or not you think it may have been moving day, the day of the tragedy? Have you given that any thought? Because, boy, the more I think about it, and especially, like I said, I did a lot of driving, thinking about it, I think it was moving day. I don't think she was supposed to be there. And if she was there, I think that somebody was supposed to be supervising her. In fact, I'm going through my notebooks here because on the highway, I kept a notebook handy. I did make a few notes as I was thinking about stuff. Let's see here. I have a lot of notebooks, so it could be I just grabbed the wrong one. Let's see. Cosmo says, I'm still pondering and not ruling it out yet. Christy says that the theory kind of makes sense. It does, doesn't it? It's one of those theories that you hear it and go, huh? But then you start thinking about stuff and go, maybe. Maybe. I have a lot of Kyle Rittenhouse notes on my little thing in here. I did find the right pages, though. Well, if you think about it, remember how Ronnie and Cindy offered before Christopher Watts left North Carolina? Remember how Ronnie and Cindy offered to go to Colorado to help? What do parents do when people are moving? They offer to help, right? I'm thinking it was moving day. So far, I've found my list of stuff for Patreon videos and a couple things for Christmas. So much for going through my notes. Yeah, I'll set the notebook aside. It just makes total sense to me. Plus, remember, I think that her room was that room on the main floor that she called her office. I think that was her room. Hope for Peace says, but there was nothing packed. Are you kidding? Look at the house. That house looked like it was packed up. Mrs. Fluffer points out what appears to be very poor acting skills. I thought that right off the bat about the poor acting skills. Think about this too. Think about the Lindstrom interview where they said that they moved there in 2010, maybe 2011. Just think about all the lies we've been told. Yes, Ash, the office was a mess. Remember that? The babysitter said that it was a mess, right? I think that's where they kept her. I do. You know my theory on that. I think she had some serious mental illness going on, and I think that room is where they kept her. So if it's moving day, and if she wasn't supposed to be there, was she supposed to be staying with somebody else? Where was she supposed to be staying if she wasn't supposed to be staying there? Or, in the alternative, who was supposed to be supervising her if somebody was supposed to be supervising her there? And would that make sense if there were prior incidents, say, oh, I don't know, of self harm, that by the time the police were called, that they had already been called? M says, I always wondered why the OCD woman's office looked like that. I don't think she had OCD at all. I think she just thought that'd be another little support group to join. I think that's where they kept her. Remember, one of the neighbors said they didn't even know kids lived there. So just imagine Christopher Watt's schedule. Out the door early in the morning, work all day, pick the kids up, run around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to make sure the kids had food and whatever they needed with their laundry and everything. And then getting the kids put to bed. And then dealing with who knows what. And reporting evidently to family members. And then to bed in time to get up in the middle of the night to feed the kids something to eat. According to Cindy Watts, at midnight, he fed the kids again, because by then they were already sleeping for 5.5 hours. M said, I put it in quotes, meaning she supposedly had it. Oh, okay, got it. So you agree then? I think as time goes on, I don't know. I'm stammering. I don't think she had any of the crap that we were told she had. Look at the lies. I just turned my notebook to a new page and I'm looking for a pen here. Okay, look at the lies. Let's list the lies. Do you want to list the lies, or is that just so redundant? We've done it so many times. But if you're going to lie to me 48 times, chances are good you're lying to me 50 times. You know what I'm saying? In fact, if you're going to lie to me once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 10 times, whatever, for 3 years straight, probably you're lying. Probably you're a liar. Probably anything you tell me, I would have no reason to believe it. Oh, really, Christy? Interesting. Christy said, I watched something on MLMs the other day, and they said they encouraged their followers to use the word retired. And evidently to just pick whatever career you think people might fall for. Mrs. Fluffer says, I think SW either killed herself or faked her death. All the bad acting points to that in my mind. I think the first one, Mrs. Fluffer. Hey, Paul. Paul's here, everybody. Mrs. Fluffer says the autopsy had too many mistakes, not normal. And the main thing, no metal in the neck. I thought they had something on the autopsy, but no scar, which is conflicting, of course. Robin says retired means you have benefits from said MLM. BS. I think a lot of people who are on disability use the word retired also. So just try to look at all of the lies we've been told, right? And then you tell me, why should we believe she held any job? Why should we believe that she was 34? Why should we believe that she was pregnant? Why should we believe she had any physical health challenges? Why should we believe that Christopher Watts wasn't telling the truth when he said that he did not murder his children? Yes, Mrs. Fluffer, the body identification. Is she beautiful? Are you kidding me? That's not real life. No pun intended. Check the knives. Check the knives for what? Where's the traveling makeup bag? Oh, yeah, if you could bring that back, we'll put it into evidence. What about the employee of the police department who said that shortly after she arrived at work that morning, she received the call about her being missing? And then she changed it to say it must have been like 4 hours later, I think it was. Christy says, yep, me too. She killed herself. I think that if you watch that Set the Record Straight video where she explains the whole, or where she's explained, I guess, as far as leaning in front of the toilet. If you look at that video where there's like a diagram, I think it was a guy leaning in front of the toilet, right? And then you see how she was positioned, right? Why were her feet turned up? Why was her butt in the air? If you look at that video that Set the Record Straight did, then you can see she's in the position that guy would have, like, the picture was of a guy leaning in front of the toilet, right? The position they found her in makes no sense at all, especially if the storyline is that he killed everyone and then took them out to the job site, right? Why was her butt sticking out? Well, look at that Set the Record Straight video where that guy's leaning in front of the toilet. That's the only explanation for having those feet turned up and butt in the air like that I can think makes any sense. Paula's here. Hey, Star Mama. Sorry, I should have sent you a message. It's because of you we are here, Star Mama. I got your email. I don't think I responded to it, though. I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know if maybe unsubscribe and subscribe again or something, or maybe be sure to hit the little bell thingy. I don't know. I have no clue. Okay, so I've got to upload a bunch of videos for Patreon. So you guys tell me. You know that What If series? That's what I'm trying to make up for because I've been taking way too much time off of doing stuff like this. What are some good What If videos to do? What if, and then you guys finish the sentence. Yes, Christy, the toilet position. Check out the Set the Record Straight video if you, I don't even know if we can find it anymore or if it's on private or whatever. But if you remember that video, it is exactly the position that her body was in. There's a good one, Robin. What if CW went to trial? What if CW went to trial? Okay, let's go ahead and explore it. What if he did? Yeah, the no water in the kids' toilet. And wasn't there a strong smell too, Mrs. Fluffer, of bleach or some sort of cleaning solvent? So what if CW went to trial? Would there be reasonable doubt? And I think there definitely would have been reasonable doubt. What if CW went to trial? I think there would be evidence introduced of child abuse. I think there would have been evidence introduced of an ongoing family matter. Of divorce, of mental illness. Yes, Star Mama. Star Mama says, I remember that video. It's just like she was in position over the toilet and like that in the grave. Exactly. That video gives you the visual of how it could be that a body would have a butt in the air and toes turned up. Here's a good one. Mrs. Fluffer says, what if CW passed the lie detector test or had a lawyer? Those are both good. Robin says a whole lot of witnesses, airport footage, NKNA, the list goes on. Exactly. And back to Mrs. Fluffer's comment too. What if he had a lawyer? What if his father would have said, shut up, son? Don't say another word. And then the evidence included things like child abuse. I guess I'd be asking, why did Christopher Watt's mother-in-law tell the quote-unquote friend to check the knives? I'd be wondering why the dogs didn't pick up on any scent in the truck. That'd be a big question for reasonable doubt, in my opinion, is what vehicle transported the bodies? And you know, if there was a trial, then maybe those fingernail scrapings would have been explored. What was in the makeup bag? And how would that have ever made it into evidence that it didn't have anything incriminating in it when, as soon as the detective or the officer would have been on cross exam, the defense could have said, is it protocol to accept any item into evidence that has traveled 1,500 miles or however many miles it would have been there and back? I have no clue. Is that protocol? Or would it have been protocol to have taken the makeup bag into evidence day one without breaking the chain of custody? Hope for Peace says, what if SW did it? Who took the bodies to the oil field? That's a good question, Hope for Peace. Who do you think? Paul says, what if SW hadn't gone to North Carolina for 5 weeks? I don't think she had a choice. I don't think they had the money to pay for the daycare. And I don't even think they were paying very much for the daycare at all, if any. I think they had some reason that she wasn't able to be there. I don't know, maybe the summer program wasn't covered on a subsidy or something. I don't know. Exactly, Mrs. Fluffer. How would NA have known what to check for with the knives? I don't even know how many knives I have. I sure as hell wouldn't know how many knives a friend has, especially if it was a friend who I didn't even know how old she was. If I don't know how old one of my friends is, I sure as hell don't know her kitchen inventory, that's for sure. Star Mama says, I think CW was set up. I do believe SW killed the girls and she choked on her vomit and overdosed on booze and drugs. Ah, Paul says that moving day would have come sooner. Interesting. Interesting. So it would have been the end of June. Robin says, God knows why CW didn't lawyer up. Or why his father didn't tell him to or get a lawyer right away. Ash says, what if she was running from CPS and that's why she went to NC? Except what I've been told by people who have contacted me who insist that there was an open CPS case is that social workers in North Carolina actually accepted the case to oversee during the 5 weeks that she was in North Carolina with the girls. And remember that note in the discovery for our social worker from North Carolina wanting the detectives to contact her. I wondered about that because that was such an odd location, wasn't it? The birthday party looked like it was at some sort of a daycare place, right? Star Mama says Straight had proof of court police records and her history. Well, I'm thinking back to the main question, what if CW went to trial? I'm thinking just the few things we've mentioned so far would have been more than enough for any jury to say not guilty. I think Cindy Watts on the stand talking about the 6:30 at night Benadryl and Tylenol thing, saying they look like two little birdies tilting their heads back, waiting for their Benadryl and Tylenol. Right, Mrs. Fluffer. The kids that were there, the kind of the what do you call it? Not sterile, but you know what I mean? Just kind of the boring surroundings. That didn't look like a birthday party if you ask me. Aw, thanks, Paul. You guys are sweet because I know I suck. I should do a stand up comedy thing some night and just kind of throw it out there and see what you guys think. It probably wouldn't be that funny though. But that would be fun to try, wouldn't it? You might not be that amused by it, Paul, because it'd probably be on stuff like menopause and stuff. I'd be like, I remember my 35th birthday, and all I could do all day long was think, I'm half a 70. Oh, shit. And probably 35-year-olds in the crowd would be going, oh my gosh, I did the same thing. Christy says, why, though, do you think it was made out the girls were in tanks? Why wouldn't they just bury the girls with SW? I don't think they were thrown in the tanks from the top at all. I don't think they've got shoved through any holes. I think they had a maintenance store and they laid the bodies in there and they were probably going to bury them later. Ooh, that's a good one, Hope for Peace. A good what if. What if some of the quote unquote friends from the birthday party came forward and spoke? Robin says if CW went to trial, Cindy would finally have a voice in this mess. Exactly. Star Mama says people are starting to figure the R's out and the money scams old FJR is doing, asking for refunds. Good for them. Good for them. I think when you see some of the channels that are saying some pretty interesting things about the whole situation, isn't that kind of a, I don't know, kind of a twist, isn't it? After what we've witnessed for the last 3 years. And like I said earlier about that one who's still posting daily as if she is still under contract. And isn't that one an actress or a wannabe actress? I don't know if she ever, I don't know. But I thought someone said she was listed on some actress site or something. But she's pretty much putting it out there that, boy, you better not sue anyone, because otherwise they're going to scour and analyze all of your expenditures. That's bullshit. Total bullshit. All this time that so many of those attackers have been harming innocent people, including Cindy Watts. Harming so many of us they've been attacking. And now I hear them on their other channels saying that they want people they were fighting with to remove the bad stuff that they posted online. Well, how about everybody removes the bad stuff they've posted online? Ooh, Star Mama, I haven't thought of that. Star Mama says, what if SW is alive after all? And the girls died, hiding her out, mental issues. Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. Here's a new theory. Except that rigor mortis video was pretty compelling. Interesting. Oh my goodness, Star Mama. I think your epiphany is very interesting. Maybe in Indianapolis or something. Robin wants to know why FR Jr. is still at home. Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that he still lives with mommy while he's spent so much time over the last 3 years saying repeatedly that those of us he's been attacking and harassing and slandering and libeling and defaming and intentionally inflicting emotional distress upon are losers, failures, that kind of thing. Like, really? When somebody's living with their mommy in his 30s, I'm thinking he's probably not the judge of careers of others. December says that the whole coffin birth thing is crap. I agree, December. Star Mama says they never went to Colorado when they went missing. Hope for Peace says, wow, like she's in a mental hospital? Exactly, M. Especially coffin births at 16 weeks. I thought it was 15 weeks. We were told it was 13 or 15. The other day I saw someone wrote 18. Yeah, Robin, with all that defamation, it's tough to get a good job, right? To get a real job. And at the same time, they're posting videos telling people to call the judiciary and tell them to not allow me to be a judicial officer. And they're spending an awful lot of time applauding people who are telling people to call phone numbers until people have to replace or get a new phone number, right? Hello. And you know how many times the courts have been called with the scumbag attackers telling the courthouse personnel to not allow me to be a domestic relations mediator? And they want to promote their lies? What, say that I never went to college? Really? But remember, that's how we found out that Christopher Watt's wife was a liar. Because those of us they were attacking all had good careers. We all had college degrees. I don't know if all of us did, but we all had good careers. A few of us have our postgraduate degrees. And yet that was one of their, I think there were 5 accusations at first against all of us they were attacking, that we were lying about our education and that we were lying about our careers. And then we dug in and found out Christopher Watt's wife was a liar. Paul says, I've never seen victims' families so involved in social media. I've never seen any family on any true crime case attack innocent people, lie about innocent people, and applaud scumbag attackers who threaten innocent people. I'll tell you, I think another interesting angle to all of it is how right at the start, the scumbag attackers were trying to make it sound like Christopher Watt's wife was just like Lacey Peterson. There is no comparison between the two women, in my opinion. And Lacey Peterson had regular contact with her brother. Lacey Peterson was very close to her mother and to her father, both of her fathers. Lacey Peterson treated her husband with respect. Robin says, do you see the Watts family doing this shit? No. Well, in my opinion, the verdict's still out about Jamie. And Ronnie, too. That whole trip to Colorado and all that crap, come on. Makes me wonder if Cindy even knew what they were pulling. But even that was their one little faux pas, right? They're not holding their hands out for any donations to try to get anybody arrested. And in my opinion, they're the ones being harassed. The hate campaign against Cindy Watts was launched day one. Star Mama says that Frank says he's the only one who knows what really happened. He said law enforcement knows too, but he said they're not going to tell people like us. So we'll never know the truth. Well, I guess if they're never going to tell us the truth about what happened, then we're just going to keep right on talking about what maybe happened. But one thing that tells me is that we've been lied to. Again, for our long list of lies, right? We're being lied to about everything. So why believe anything? I still think, though, with that rigor mortis video, that makes sense why her butt would have been in the air and why her feet would have been turned up. I think she was overdosing major. And here's another thought, the whole check the knives comment. Maybe it was worse than overdosing, if you know what I'm saying. Paul says, I heard on another channel today it's the last day for the 35C. Don't know if that's true. Well, Paul, I think the scumbag attackers think that's true. And I think that's probably why they're all picking up their toys and moving on to other sandboxes. I think there was probably a 3-year contract or maybe an annual contract for, being renewed each year. Star Mama says that Junior is calling people names that stood behind his family. It's all falling apart for them. I heard, was it yesterday, that he called one of the ones who was like talking a lot about how great they were, that he called her some kind of whore. I'm not sure. Like an attention whore, maybe? M says, I don't think a 35C would even work in CW's case. That's exactly right, M. Well, think about it, though. If there was a strong smell of cleaning solution, the water was drained, the door was locked to that bathroom, right? Yes, Robin. I love the Queen's response to the Oprah interview, I think it was, wasn't it? When she said, well, recollections may vary. So, the sad part of this, from all the lies that we've been told from day one, the really sad part is that 2 little girls were murdered in what should have been the safety of their own home. And from what it looks like to me, watching all the channels over the last 3 years, we're the only ones focusing on the fact that Bella and Cece were murdered. Other people could be helped if the truth was told about this case. Other children could be helped. But no, it's more important to pretend that Christopher Watt's wife was really so smart and so successful. Money, money, money. Robin says, why would CW lock a bathroom if his girls were dead? Well, I don't know. Maybe there was a major cleanup, and maybe they wanted the major cleanup to air out before anyone opened the door. I don't know. Here's a question for you guys. Do you know any man who would be in the middle of his workday, who would answer his cell phone, and it would be some friend of his wife's, and the friend would tell him to get home, and he would say, okay. I don't. I don't know any man who would respond to one of his wife's friends telling him what to do. But if your wife was severely mentally ill and she had a caregiver, and the caregiver notified him in the middle of the workday that the children were missing and that his severely mentally ill wife was missing with the children, I bet you he would hop in his truck and head home. And I'll bet you that it wouldn't have been the first time that he received a phone call like that. And I'll bet you that all the times he had to take off work because the kids were sick were actually times he had to take off work because his wife was sick. Didn't the friend's teenage son say something about helping his mom, at work? And wasn't that her best friend? Why didn't she go to her best friend's wedding? Well, in my opinion, she wasn't her best friend. In my opinion, she was a caregiver. And in my opinion, the caregiver planned to have a vacation. Maybe that's why Christopher Watt's wife and the girls had to go to North Carolina for 5 weeks. Maybe that's the answer right there. Well, think about it. Does your friend even have your husband's cell phone number? Paul says that's a really good point. The answer is no. I don't think it's normal for a friend who doesn't know how old you are. Okay? So are we talking a really close friend at that point? I don't think it's normal for friends to have husbands' cell phone numbers. Yes, Mrs. Fluffer, why couldn't she take a plane ride by herself? I've traveled with 3 kids by myself. Everyone in this chat has traveled with our own children by ourselves. That's what parents do. But think about it. Maybe that explains why she had to be gone for 5 weeks. Maybe her friend was actually a caregiver who said she needed to have a month off work because she was getting married. Maybe that explains the whole North Carolina routine. Did you guys see anything at all on any Facebook posts about her friend getting married? I don't remember seeing anything. Well, if they're such close buddies that they have daily contact and that the buddy knew every inch of the house and that the buddy's teenage son knew what the sheets were like, seems to me there would have been some mention about that wedding. Let's look at the 2016 springtime. I've got my notebooks going again. 2016 springtime, Indianapolis, hospital. Applebee's, I think it was. The roller skating rink. Who goes to the roller skating rink? I don't know. What was it, a month and a half? And then after that time frame, both kids are sick again. And then that December, we're told, was when she got caught. And then in January, there were some negotiations going on. And then the girls were both put in daycare full time. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's right. Right after Indianapolis of 2016 would have been Cece's first birthday party, when all of a sudden she's introduced to her friend, the friend who I think was her caregiver. Spacebound said, why couldn't she keep her kids without help but planned another baby? Irresponsible. Well, Spacebound, you must have missed our live chat from the other day. We have another theory on that. That maybe the baby was what she did. Christy says, doing drug deals at the roller rink? Mrs. Fluffer says, probably, Christy. You know, early on I said, on this channel, we don't make excuses for child abusers, which we don't. And we've pretty much steered clear of talking about any side of the family, except to say that we do not believe that Cindy Watts should be unfairly harassed and attacked and ridiculed. But take a look at the low standard set in this case. Everyone's using the F word. Everyone's saying, oh, she was just overbearing. She was just bossy. Everyone's saying, oh, she was such a wonderful mother. Really? A few live chats ago, I said, can you please show me, please send me a link of any video that Christopher Watt's wife posted on social media that clearly shows that she was a wonderful mother. Please, if you can find one, I'd like to watch it. Yes, Paul. NA is a hero and SW does more than 95% of the other women out there. Baloney. Mrs. Fluffer says, I re-watched her video saying her 3 kids, and then she quickly corrected herself. Oh, I mean 2. Like, do you know any mother who doesn't know how many kids she has? December says, I think they were pillheads, and I'll tell you why. The money NA gave and found in SW's purse and cash sounds about right for street value of Percocet. Wow. And why on earth would the friend be giving Christopher Watt's wife cash? Was she in charge of some allowance or something? Yes, Christy, she said she was on a play date with her other two daughters. Wouldn't it be cool if NA would all of a sudden show up in our chat and hop up on the panel and answer our questions? Heck, I wouldn't even mind if FRJ showed up and answered a few questions. I doubt that he ever would. I'm thinking, because remember, he thinks we're a bunch of old hags. Yes, Paul. Quote, she's just going to have to get over it. That's when she couldn't even remember what the diagnosis was, even though she claimed both kids were at the emergency room the night before. She claimed she could not remember what the diagnosis was for one of them. Oh, she'll just have to get through it. And, the whole idea that anybody is trying to pretend that she made any money with any of those MLMs she signed up for. What is it? The FTC.com website, I think it is, that clearly states that in the United States, 99.9% of the people who sign up for those product-based MLMs fail to ever see a penny of profit. Anyone in this chat think that Christopher Watt's wife was especially gifted in being able to get people to sign up or get people to buy products? Sounds to me like the people who bought the products were her in-laws who were trying to be supportive of yet another one of her dreams. Which is another thing. Oh, Hokey Pete. There's another channel creator. We talked about a video that she did. Let me see if I can. Oh, I don't know. I don't really want to. I'm not going to play her video because we don't need her to be like, oh, I've got to do another response video. I see how these channels do that. They get it going so they can go back and forth so they can have some content. I guess, suffice it to say that once again, they're attacking Cindy Watts and trying to act like, well, whatever. Claiming that nobody has ever harassed Cindy Watts, that people just don't like Cindy Watts because she said negative things about her daughter-in-law. No, she didn't. With all of this stuff that Cindy Watts knows about her daughter-in-law, if she wanted to trash talk her, she could have been trash talking her right from the start. Paul makes a good point. You're not going to buy from a salesperson who says, Mandy says you need to have hundreds on your downline to make money. Mandy, 99.9% of people who sign up for multi-level, product-based multi-level marketing companies fail to ever see a penny of profit. I don't care if you have thousands of people on your downline. If 99.9% of the people in the United States who sign up for product-based multi-level marketing companies fail to ever see a penny of profit, she wasn't making any money. Paul says she was top in sales, according to her mother. And according to her father-in-law, she was 35th from the top. Bullshit. And even then, take a look at her stockpile. She bought product, no doubt. Did she have the skill set to ever run a successful business? She couldn't even pay her house payment. She claimed that the HOA dues were sent to the wrong address for a couple of years. That is not how business owners act. If 99.9% of the people in the United States who sign up for product-based multi-level marketing companies fail to ever see a penny of profit, there is no way in hell that Christopher Watt's wife is that little sliver, 1/10 of 1%. Bullshit. Her vocabulary was limited. She was rude. She dissed her husband and her children on videos. She had an arrogant way about her with her limited vocabulary and dissing her husband and kids. I would dare say most people would see those videos of her and go, ew. Remember the guy who came to the live chat saying he and his wife had to change their phone numbers because she wouldn't leave them alone? And then after the tragedy, we saw one of the family members posting a list of phone numbers saying, call these numbers until they have to change their phone numbers. Saint? Really? Did you see the post that she made in the class that she claimed was part of a nursing program? I have a feeling it was one of those 99 classes to get you prepared to take a class. Basically calling another student a dog. Texting during class. Yes, I think it was Veronica Horn. Christy said, oh, maybe that's why she had all those different names. Yes, all the people who unfollowed her because of her repetitive posts. That is not a successful businesswoman. Or I should say, that is not a sign that she was ever a successful businesswoman. Yes, the stockpile in the basement. She was her own best customer. And again, maybe it was moving day. Maybe that's why all those boxes were set to roll. Maybe that's why she supposedly said to Christopher Watts he couldn't leave until he finished with the basement. Mrs. Flover said, I had a Thrive lady bother me, and I said, I don't want your shit, after saying no nicely. Exactly, Christy. She was a bully. She was a bully. Look at how she treated her husband. Look at how she treated poor little Bella. And what have we seen in her wake? A bunch of bullies. Mandy says they sell that crap to each other. It's ridiculous. If somebody wants to sign up because they're convinced somehow that they can buy it wholesale, whatever. But I do not believe, I refuse to believe that she ever made a dime on selling any of the MLMs she was signing up for. Remember, she signed up for a bunch of them. Christy says, and CW was her second best customer. And there's another good clue, Christy, because successful business people don't have to wrangle with the stats or wrangle with the numbers or use other names and other accounts to try to play with the points or the tiers or the levels, right? If she was successful, then obviously she was successful. And obviously, if she was successful, the house payment would have been paid. Obviously, if she was successful, the car would have been in her name, as in the lease for the car would have been in her name. Mid-30s, they didn't even own a car. Hello. They had diddle for equity, diddle for assets. They had already walked away from 70 grand. They were not current on their payments. They were headed to court for a financial judgment because she couldn't even pay the HOA dues. That were only something like $52 or $54 a month. They were broke. And they weren't just broke for a month or two. They were broke. That was their status quo. Broke. We're not talking about someone who even traveled as much as the storyline's been telling us. Isn't that kind of the default mode is, oh, she traveled all the time? No, she didn't. No, she didn't at all. Heading off to a weekend sales training seminar, that's not called traveling. Brooks is asking if I think it's a fabrication when she took the footage of them traveling on vacation, claiming it was all expenses paid. I think they may have had free tickets into some convention. I highly doubt she ever, quote unquote, earned an all expenses paid trip. Yes, Mrs. Fluffer is reminding us of the video where she says she's going to strangle the dog. She's going to strangle the dog before his barking wakes up the girls, and she strangles the dog. Christy says she stayed in bed most of the time. I think she did stay in bed most of the time, and I think she stayed in bed in that little room on the main floor, which is where I think they kept her. Sandy's here. Hi, Sandy. So you tell me, why is Christopher Watts behind bars? Do you think he blames himself? Like what he said to his mom, that he decided to take responsibility for what happened? Do you think it's possible that he knew she was alone with the girls and he went to work anyway? I agree, Paul. And battered spouses do blame themselves for anything that goes wrong. Yes, Mrs. Fluffer, she tripped over her own words. Her vocabulary was so limited that it really made me wonder if she ever even attended high school, let alone graduated. So give me a 1 if you think she committed suicide. Give me a 2 if you think that she didn't die at all. I guess give me a 3 if neither one of those are what you think. Maybe that's what happened, Christy. Christy says, oh, yes, MM, good one. It was a day he left them alone with her, moving day. Maybe that's it. Maybe he left her alone. I think that she committed suicide. I think that she hurt both Bella and Cece, and then I think she hurt herself. I think somebody was supposed to be there supervising her. If she was even supposed to be there, I don't know. But I do think it was moving day. That's a good way to say it, Mrs. Fluffer. One if dead. And think about this. Think about all the stuff that Cindy Watts knows and how they didn't even speak with her. You know, Cindy Watts never got a check in the mail for lost wages. Cindy Watts actually had a full-time job for decades. Ronnie Watts had a full-time job for decades. They didn't get any lost wages. And Ronnie's the one who hopped on a plane and went out there. Exactly, Em. Good point. Andrea Yates was only alone with her children for 1 hour, and she killed all 5 children. Jeanette, exactly. Exactly. I don't know how to say the last name on that. If you could pronounce it for me, write it out somehow. But it is, have you guys seen the movie of the young gal who went to be the tutor, I think, of the daughter? And she and oops, my battery's running low and it's plugged in. This could be trouble, you guys. I told you about my cord earlier. That's not good. My battery's running low and it's plugged in. If all of a sudden the chat goes down, it's a cord issue. Just a heads up for you. But yes, that movie, she fell in love with the father of her young student. She moved right in. And on their wedding day, I think it was, wasn't it his wife's brother, maybe, who came in and interrupted the wedding, saying that he was already a married man? And it turned out that his wife had gone insane, and he kept her up in the attic. Jane Eyre. Thank you, Mrs. Fluffer. It's a really good movie. If you haven't watched it, it's a really good one. There are a couple of different versions of it out there, but it's right on YouTube. You can just search it. Jeanette says CW didn't do it. I agree, Jeanette. Eyre? Okay. Jane Eyre. Well, it's a really good movie. And basically, the guy was keeping his wife from having to be institutionalized, but she was like bona fide over the top, okay? And then wasn't there a fire or something? The tutor left, of course, and then she returned to find that there had been a fire, and I think that the wife had, I can't remember, didn't she like fall to her death or something? Read what Ash and M wrote. Okay. Let's see here. Ash and M, I watched a video a while back that said she's still alive and that she's on Tulip Street in Colorado. Really? Tulip Street in Colorado? And then she said, Christy, yes, I've looked for the video and I can't find it now, but it was said she was seen in a red car, whoa, hiding on Tulip Street. Whoa. Anyone want to go to Colorado? We could drive around in circles till we saw a red car on Tulip Street. I'm kidding. I do not advocate stalking you guys. Although if any of you want to buy that house with me, just holler. I don't want anybody in this chat to go driving around Tulip Street. Promise? If anyone found proof, or if she suddenly, I don't know, came out and told the truth, I'll tell you, there would be lawsuits filed big time. So the people who believe that then have the theory that she killed the kids and then he's taken the heat for it while they're hiding her? I don't know. I don't think so. I think that whole butt in the air and feet turned up fits that rigor mortis video just right. Cobra says, insane wife started the fire, child died? The child died? Oh, I missed that part. But it's been a while since I've watched it. You're right. I bet you're right. Wow. Yep, she returned, married the guy, and then they had a couple of kids, I think. Have you guys heard anything about how wherever it is they're supposedly buried, that it's really close to one of her male friends? That's what Cindy Watts told me. That you can see evidently, or that you you can't see it, but they evidently from their house can see the memorial. That's kind of weird, isn't it? And then she said that one time when they went there that there was a guy in a car sitting there staring at him, and then he came up and asked him what they were doing there. So evidently they have people watching. So what's it going to take for us to hear the truth about this case, huh? Or maybe, you know what? Maybe we already know the truth. Maybe we already know the truth. Maybe we've nailed it right from the start. Maybe we're right. And maybe it was moving day. You know, maybe, I don't know, we seem to kind of learn stuff with every live chat. Maybe that whole 5 weeks in North Carolina was because the friend wasn't really a friend. Maybe she was a caregiver. And maybe she said she needed a month off that summer to get married. Maybe that explains the extended stay in North Carolina. Because, you know, daycare would have been going on. But if that person was a caregiver and was supposed to be there in the mornings and maybe sometimes in the evenings, there you go. Retired nurse. Yeah. I think she had a lot of issues starting when she was about 12, 13, 14. A lot of issues. I don't think she attended high school regularly at all. I think she had some in house treatment during her high school years. I don't think she graduated from high school because I think if she had graduated from high school, we would have seen a high school graduation photo by now. I think she rarely made it to school. Do you see any photos of her in band? Do you see any photos at all of her in high school? Any high school friends? Anything? Pom pom, cheerleader? I mean, if she was so flippin' beautiful and all, was she involved with any extracurricular activities? Tennis? Basketball? Volleyball? Anything? Ever? Or did her hormones rage and set off the onset, I guess I'd say, of mental illness symptoms? Where's the picture of her turning 16 and getting her driver's license? Paul says when she didn't come home at night when she was living with her first husband, where would she have been? What would she have been up to? Maybe she was pregnant. Miss Chicago says, hey, fam. Miss Chicago, I've never heard of you before, so I'm not sure that we're your fam. Hey, fam, new here, was listening to AD and he replayed the first interview when CW gets to the part about finding her ring on the nightstand. He says, I found the knife and the ring on the nightstand. I have never heard that before. Are you kidding me? Okay, everybody, let's find it. Let's see if we can find it. I want to say something about AD. Uh-oh, I'm getting the battery running low message again. This is not good because this is plugged in and it's charging. This is not good. Let me look at the little battery picture and see if it tells me anything. Uh-oh, it says 5%, you guys. It's plugged in too, so I don't know what to think. I'll unplug it and plug it in again just to make sure it's plugged in well. Ugh, techno crap. There. The light went brighter when I plugged it back in, so that's good. I want to say something about AD, though. AD is a creep. AD is constantly saying, why are they coming after me when there are other people, blah, 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 blah. He's constantly doing that. So he's basically telling thousands of people, go attack them. No, he should shut his trap. And he should say, people should stop trying to go after other people, period. Exactly, Christy. Not techno. Oh. Yeah, really, Mrs. Fluffer. He probably put it in. Okay, what is it we're looking for now? I got distracted by the battery here. Let's see. Okay. YouTube. Well, I don't know what part of that video he's saying that he found the ring, though. Christopher Watts. Uh-oh. It's going blank. Hold on. Ugh. I'll put found the ring. I could hear it on AD's channel, I guess. Chris Watts finds the wedding ring, first police cam video ever recorded. Okay, let's see.
Hey, you want to know how we successfully write and publish books? that give us a consistent 6.
Okay, I'm going to skip that ad.
What's that? Yeah.
It's the teenager saying, "You remember me?"
Nicole?
Okay, I'm going to fast forward here to when they're standing around the upstairs. I don't know if he's claiming he found it by now. Does anyone know when he found the ring? How far along it is in the video? Miss Chicago says the version is different. I've heard it a ton of times, so 80s version is different. How? I'm perplexed. Well, okay, if his version is different, I'm not going to waste my time here. So, okay, I take it, Miss Chicago, that you trust AD? I don't trust anyone who sits there and tries to get people in his little subliminal message way to attack others. And that's what it seems like to me. That's my opinion of what he pulls. Like, oh, that person's bad. That person's bad. That person's bad. I'm not bad. I haven't done anything wrong. Yeah, bullshit. You want to know my opinion about AD? I think he's part of the package. I think he's basically like, what's it called? Controlled opposition. Just look at all the content that's been created because everyone supposedly doesn't like AD. Now ask yourself, would any of those channels have any content at all if they didn't have the ongoing routine with AD? Would AD have any content if he wasn't constantly begging a bunch of women who you do realize, if you listen to his choice of words, he does not seem to me to have any respect for women. Listen closely if you choose to listen to him. He does not seem to have any respect for women. That whole shadow thing, I know. Some people saw whatever. You know that they can make different things. I don't know. That's just me. I don't trust him. I don't think the fight that everyone's claiming is going on all the time is really going on. I think it's what they play act in order to try to keep the content going. Oh, I just checked the battery. It says 5% still. So that's good. It doesn't say 4%, right? Now I can't find the battery thing. Where's my battery? Oh, there it is. Okay. It still says 5%. That's just not good. The sucker's plugged in. It shouldn't be 5%. Ms. Badskirt says, Star Mama, I'm well, sneaking a few minutes of our MM before Mom calls out my name again. I love her dearly, but nighttime can be hard. Does your mom have sundowners, Ms. Badskirt? Where the nighttime's a little bit rough? Ms. Badskirt says she's missed a lot. Nah, you haven't missed much. We're just babbling. In case you haven't heard yet, you guys, we talked about it earlier, but Kyle Rittenhouse was found not guilty on all counts. Sandy says, go to your desktop, please. That's cute. Ms. Badskirt loves the babbling. Well, that whole bathroom thing, the bathroom being locked, smelling like it was just cleaned, the rubber glove that was found in the kitchen, the position of the body that we were told, right? I think it was moving day. I do. I think it was moving day. I think either Christopher Watts left her alone with the girls, or somebody was supposed to be there with her to supervise her around the girls, or I think maybe the girls were supposed to be like locked in their rooms or something until somebody got there, maybe. I don't know. But I think it's important that Christopher Watts said to his mother that he decided to take responsibility for what happened. That isn't him saying to his mother that he killed his daughters. That seems kind of odd, right? He decided to take responsibility for what happened. So maybe he feels responsible for what happened. Maybe he left her there with the girls. Or maybe there were other people in the basement who were supposed to be watching her. Maybe there were people there to help with moving day. Maybe when he left for work that morning, he had no clue that the gates of hell were about to open inside his home. Maybe if there were other people there, they got the hell out of there fast after they cleaned everything up. And maybe there was, what was it, a red pickup? Didn't people say there was a red pickup? Maybe that's what took the bodies out to the job site. And maybe that's when he fell to his knees and lost his bodily fluids and the contents of his stomach. Maybe others disposed of the bodies. Maybe he was told to keep his mouth shut. And maybe he was used to doing what he was told. Maybe there were a few people involved who are used to doing what they're told. And maybe one of those people will jump on our live stream at some point and tell us everything they know. Wouldn't that be grand? That would be wonderful if one of the people involved hopped up on our live stream and shared information. And if there is a cover up, if there is a group of people who are covering, I would think that the person who first came out with the truth might be the person who could swing a deal, right? What do they call it? Immunity from prosecution? I think the first person to come out with the truth might be smart to do so instead of somebody else from the group trying to rewrite it even in a different way. Kitty Witty says, I definitely saw a red car or truck there that morning. Ms. Badsker says, ha, that'd be something. Mrs. Fluffer says, why would her parents live in an unfinished basement when she had a 5-bedroom house? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think they're probably counting the basement one as a bedroom. I think the 4th one was her bedroom. But even then, they could have put the girls in 1 bedroom. Another question is, why, given her major success with the MLM she signed up for, why was that basement so terrible? Why was that basement unfinished? It's kind of like a refrigerator with no refrigerator art. Why have that basement and not finish it? Oh, there goes the phone. I'm going to put you on mute just for a second. Keep talking. I'll be right back. That didn't go well. I have no clue where my phone is. The base is ringing, and I don't know what I did with the phone. It's here somewhere. But obviously, the battery's dead because I didn't hear the phone ringing, just the base. Welcome to my world. Sandy says 4 bedrooms in the 2nd floor, and I believe that office was a bedroom too. Oh, I didn't know there were 4 upstairs. I thought there were 3. Well, maybe they stayed in the basement because they prefer not be right around, you know. Miss Basker said last week we found the phone in the fridge. I bet your mom put it there, honey. Sandy says, what is going on with you and batteries? I have to set my phone on the base every day, because as we know, I talk. Master bedroom, 2 rooms for the girls, and the playroom. Oh, okay. Okay. I thought the playroom was just kind of like a loft area, kind of open. But yeah, if there were 4 bedrooms up there, then why were the parents down in the basement? That makes no sense. Well, Ms. Badsker, I admire your strength and tenacity. Good for you for taking care of Mom. Good for you. Let me guess, your ink pens disappear and so do your hairbrushes and combs. It was lime green. Maybe that's why they stayed in the basement. Maybe the colors were too gaudy. Just saying. I don't know. Bottom line, we've been lied to way too many times. It's time for the truth to be told. And if they're not going to tell us the truth, then we'll just keep right on saying what we think is true. Ms. Badsker says she is wonderful. I'm just cranky, old, and tired on a Friday night. Oh, I think you're the wonderful one, quite frankly. It isn't easy dealing with the elderly when they're getting up there. in years, and you're kind of like playing cheerleader entertainment committee or something. Definitely take time for yourself. Definitely get away from it all. Give yourself plenty of breaks. Mrs. Fluffer says, "What was up with the rainbow bright kitty colors?" Well, look at the gorgeous room. I mean, come on. 34 years old. And if you're going to put gorgeous on your wall, shouldn't you know how to spell it? I think that's what it said. Wasn't it gorgeous? December says, "I hope the Rittenhouse case proves how corrupt the DAs and prosecutors can be. I hope there are sanctions coming down the pike." Paul says, "Cindy must have been allowed to sleep upstairs." You know what? She never ever said anything at all about sleeping in the basement. I don't think she was a basement dweller. Sandy says, "That purple empty dining room always creeped me out." Back to the Cindy thing. She was actually close to her son's wife. They were close. But for 3 years, we've been told over and over again how they weren't close. That's who needs to hop up on the panel, is Cindy. She needs to tell us all about what her daughter-in-law confided in her. Now I'm wondering where my phone is. And of course, wanting to check the caller ID, but if the battery isn't working, I won't know. Which means I want to check my voicemail. Just think, what if it was moving day? What if there were other people there? What if in the confusion and chaos, or maybe exhaustion, he left for work thinking that there would be people who would make sure that the girls were protected? And remember, too, that Christopher Watt's father-in-law said in his police interview that his daughter came home and confronted Christopher Watts. Well, how would he have known that she came home and confronted Christopher Watts? Mrs. Fluffer said if she had so much money for vacations but couldn't buy a dining table, well, she had a dining room table and it got repossessed, is what we're told. And then, according to Cindy, all of a sudden she had a crappy table and claimed that she wanted that table instead of the other one. Cindy said she thought it was very strange. Sandy says that the in-laws were there for a year. They were there, I think, for 15 months or 16 months. I think it was 15. Jeanette says that toward the end of his interview, Senior said there are lots of canyons in Colorado where a body wouldn't have been found. Then he giggled. Really? I don't remember that at all. Wow. But I do think it's very interesting that the man telling us that we'll never know the truth told law enforcement that his daughter came home and confronted his son-in-law. Okay, guys, guess what? 2 hours and 9 minutes and 47 seconds. So Miss Mensa is going to call it a night. I'll hop on again this weekend, I promise. But when I hop on again, ask me if I got my videos uploaded to Patreon. And if I haven't gotten my videos uploaded to Patreon yet, then kick me off of here. Tell me to go get those videos uploaded, and then we'll do a live chat after I upload the videos to Patreon. It is very time consuming, especially with this whole cord and battery situation. But I need to get it done. It's on my list of things to do. So don't let me enjoy the live chat so much that I neglect my Patreon uploads. Hold me accountable. Cobra says, correction, the child was saved by the housekeeper. Good. So the child didn't die in the fire then? Oh, another child died when Jane was at boarding school. Was that the little girl who got the plague or something? And then Jane went and visited her? December says, thanks for the Rittenhouse coverage. You're welcome. I thought that was so interesting and so heart-wrenching to see him fall into that chair. That poor kid. Oh, that poor kid. December says, love to have a little meet and greet someday. That would be fun, but the scumbag attackers are so deranged that I would have a tough time ever, safely planning anything like that because they are just so psycho. You know what I'm saying? Yes, not guilty, Ms. Badskirt. Not guilty on 5 counts. Definitely check out the videos that show him hearing the verdicts. So, okay, I'm going to start us off with, we haven't done this in a while. Oops, here we go. Oops, here we go. There. Good night, John boy. I'm a little nervous about the battery thing, too. I think what I'm going to have to do is turn the computer off and just let the baby charge. Yeah, it's still sitting at 5%. That's not good. At least it isn't 4%. I'm glad for that. Yes, everybody have a great weekend. I'll try to hop on again this weekend. I will hop on again this weekend. Sandy says, good night, Grandma. Ms. Badziker says, good night, Mary Ellen. December says, nighty-night. Aussie Girl Jen says, night. Miss Chicago says, have a great weekend. So, I want you all to know that you really should be checking your vitamin D levels if possible and talking with your doctors about taking vitamin D supplements. And you should be making sure you're getting some really good sleep, that you're properly hydrated, that you're taking good walks out in the woods, or at least taking good walks outside, getting some fresh air, and that you are safe. Yeah, really, Sandy? Sandy says, check your seat cushion for your phone. Mrs. Fluffer says, good night. Ms. Badsker says, look forward to it. See you all. That's funny. I'll find the phone. One time, I think it was Tuesday. No, not Tuesday. It would have been Wednesday. When I couldn't find it, guess where it was? It was in my car. It wasn't my cell phone. It was my house phone. Evidently, I was on the phone and walking to the car, and it does work outside for quite a ways. It's cordless, obviously. I just realized probably every phone is cordless nowadays, isn't it? But anyway, when I couldn't find it Wednesday, it was in my car. That's where I found it. And I'm kind of wondering if maybe that isn't where I left it today, too. Jeanette says the girl's name was Helen Burns. Wow, I love how your memory works. Ms. Batziker says too much coffee lately. So I'll go find my phone and I'll get the battery all charged up on the computer. And I'll bug you guys again this weekend. But remember, hold me accountable for the whole thing. Just ask me if you think of it. Just ask me if I got the videos uploaded to Patreon. Jeanette says, good night, all. Everybody be safe, be healthy, and know that you are loved.